What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, Yuri with D-Boy, and we are back with another video. This time we will do an old school video. So there have been requested of me to do a combo video on the Turbo GB8 turn and on the Picaro turn in the G era. So as I said, it's kind of old school, but it's really nice for you guys to have requested this for me to do because I really like doing these old stuff. Okay, so talking about, of course, the G decks, there are different things that we have to tackle. We're talking which G era, because for Spectros there are two decks that we actually played in the G era a lot. The first one is the deck that's pretty much focuses on the GB8 and only the GB8, and there is the second deck who also focus on just Picaro and Agrias and sometimes go to the GB8. So what's the big difference between the two? Well, the biggest difference is their grade 3 lineup. The one deck actually didn't even play Rising Nova and the other deck did. So let's talk about that. Let's showcase the deck and show you guys the differences between the two before we jump into the combo video. Alright, so the grade 3 lineup of the deck that I played at the end of the G era, the deck that I won my gold medal with the team league, played actually only the 4 copies of Jelly Beans and the 4 copies of Rising Star. The reason why I played this deck is because this deck actually focuses only on the GB8. So the GB8 is actually your main killer. Although you did win lots of games with Picaro or Agrias as well, because I won my last game also with Picaro, it still pretty much is actually the GB8 who is your main go-to stride. So these were the strides that you went for. If you play the other deck, let's say the deck that not really focuses only on the GB8, then you also play Rising Nova, and the deck would pretty much look like this. So you could play 2 Jelly Beans and then you add in the 4 copies of Rising Nova. So you play 4 Nova, 3 Star and 2 Beans. So this grade 3 lineup makes the deck way different, because now you pretty much are focusing on Rising Nova and Star only being a combo piece, as you call them, and multi-attack with him. And the Jelly Beans is here just to get the defense and not only just to turbo. So depending on which deck you're playing, the combos will be different because it depends on which units you have in your deck. So for the grade 2s, the units that you played most of the time were, let's start with the most important one. You have the Mayhem Tiger, of course, which was a pain. You have the Laser Blackguard, which is the combo extender. We have the Axe Diver, of course, and then we also have Lethal Forward. So these were pretty much the main 4 grade 2 that you played in the deck. And of course, in some era, we also played Parkour, as he was really good to search or to call whenever your front row got locked. But pretty much for the grade 2s, these were the grade 2s that you play. And again, it depends on which deck you're playing. You're playing more of the Nova deck or the Star deck, and then the grade 2 or how many of each you would play will become different. If you guys want a deck profile, I could also do a deck profile, but this was more of a combo video. So if you want a deck profile, you could just request it and I will try to do it for you guys. For the grade 1s, you play Eliza, you play Frog Raider, you play Fake Bomber, you play the Perfect Guard, which was also very good, especially in the Gize matchup, and you play the Acrobats Verdi, and you could play Tier. Tier is also important, as Tier gave you lots of counter chargers, but that's mostly only during your GB8 turn. So if you're not playing the GB8 focus deck, then you would normally not play Tier, but if you're playing the Tier or the GB8 focus deck, then you could play Tier. So this is pretty much all the great ones that you would want to run in the deck. For the grade zeros or for the triggers, of course we got the heal. You can search it with the jelly beans. You get liar lips. For some reason I don't have the SP in here, but I could take her out. Here we go. So we have liar lips, and you get the draw triggers being whatever you like, and of course you get your mega instructor. So these are pretty much the triggers that you want to run. And of course for the starter we went for mega trainer, because mega trainer is really good because he could go off the field, which means that your opponent could not get the chance to retire him, but he could also search you whatever you like. In the GB8 deck, he searches your heals, but he also searches your Acrobat Verdi, which gets you star if you don't have star in your hand, because you don't want to ride into the jelly beans. And yeah, it's pretty much an amazing deck to play. It still is. I sometimes just play the deck because I have it in sleeves. The last deck I played from the G era, still an amazing deck to play. Okay, now before we get to the actual combo, there is one more thing that we need to talk about. So the deck that I will show in this video is, as I said, the deck that plays just the 4-star and the 4 jelly beans. Why? It's because, as I said, this was my favorite deck. If you guys want to see the different combos that you could do with Nova himself, then I could show you another video like the different combos that you could do. Because with Nova you could actually kill right away, but the thing is, when we got Agrias, we didn't really need Nova anymore, because Agrias could charge everything you have in your hand, which was the big difference. That's why you don't want to play the 2 counterblast. And also the turn that you ride into star, you could pretty much get the same thing. But I will just showcase the differences. I could do it in this video as well, just a fast difference show. All right, now mostly what you want to do is, let's say that you have ridden into any grade 1, doesn't matter. Let's say that you have your PG for some reason and that you have to ride into this. You move this behind the rear guard, behind the Vanguard, doesn't really matter. Then for the grade 2, let's say you ride into the Axe Diver. You don't really have a favorite or right targets in this deck, because pretty much everything doesn't have a Vanguard skill or something that works in the early game. Pretty much from the first time you stride, the deck would work. Before that, you're pretty much doing nothing except searching for your heals. And yeah. So then you ride into Star, you activate this to get the right card to your hand. In this case, pretty much could be anything. If you have enough counterblasts, you could kill your opponent right away. So let's say that you have 4 counterblasts to work with, because your opponent was like, he wanted to give you lots of counterblasts. So let's say that you have 4 counterblasts to work with. So this is your damage, and you didn't activate Mega Trainer yet, and it's time for you to ride into that grade 3. So you ride into the grade 3, and depending on which cards you have in your hand, you pretty much want to have the Fake Bomber, the Frog Raider. It's good to have combo extenders, like let's say Mega Instructor. It's good to have Laser Black Guards, and of course stars always welcome. But pretty much anything that could extend your combos. The combo extenders are Laser Black Guards, especially Laser Black Guards. If you have him in your hand, you could also keep him in your hand in combination with Fake Bomber. And this is one of the cards that you actually want. And the reason why people would play Nova is because Nova could get anything out of your deck, while Star could only get something with the charge ability. So that's the big difference between the two. So let's say that you already have Frog Raider, or if you don't, you could just first stride. So you stride into Agrias, and you didn't activate his ability, which is okay, you don't really have to. Again, depends on the cards that you have in your hand. Now you could activate the skill of Mega Trainer, count +1, to get the Frog Raider. If you don't have him, And if you played against Nubatam at the time, then you would put this in the front row because they could take him out. If not, then you could just keep him in the back row, and then you play it like this. If you have still some crits left in your deck, you could still choose to put him in the front row, which is also very good. So you could do it like this. And on the other side, you would put anything because he would pretty much take one of your Vanguards out, right? So you could do it like this, and this would work. So what you do is you first attack with this side, which is 11, and then you attack with this side, which is 12, to hit the Vanguard again. And then you would attack with the Vanguard. You activate first the ability of Flyer Lips to put her into the soul, to draw a card, and then you will activate the skill of Agrias to bind all 3 and call 2 back, right? So you could do it like this, and this would stay in the bind zone. This count last 1, draws you another card, so you already drew 2. He get the extra 5k, and Frog Raider is already on the field to get more power from their drive check. Because of the drive check would be something like a draw trigger, a Mayhem Tiger, and let's say a Laser Black Guard. Then that's good because you could already put the power on the Frog Raider. If you get a crit, that's perfect because you could give him the crit, and that would mean every attack that you make with him would also have a crit. Alright, now from this moment on, you attack with this. He gets an extra 5k from the trigger. He got an extra 5k because he's charged, and then you activate the skill of Laser Black Guard to Soul Blast 2, counter charge, and call something from your hand, which pretty much would be the laser because he could extend the combo. And then this would be an okay number because this is 14, so this 24, that's still good. He's charged, you get plus 5k, and at the end of the battle he goes to the bottom of the deck, of course, because he was charged. Now you attack with Laser Black Guard, and then what you do right here is he hits 14, of course, which is again good to hit them. And if you would have a second Frog Raider, then you would make an even stronger column, because what your second Frog Raider would be like is that you will put them in 2 different columns, one in the front row, one in the back row, and that would be the perfect situation. But again, we said if we didn't have any Frog Raider, that we had to even search one with our Mega Trainer, then the combo would be like this. Alright, now, so this already attacked, you attack with him. At the end of the battle, he goes back to the bottom of the deck. Count +1, put a card from your hand into the soul. And in this situation, what you want to do is you have to call something that could still extend your combos. You could call something, you have to put a card from your hand into the soul. You could call something like a Fake Bomber, yet again. But then you will have to, again, hope that you have a Laser Black Guard in your hand, because Laser Black Guard is the only card that works well with the Fake Bomber because of the timing that he calls is at the end of the battle. So you could attack again, and then he goes away, then you attack with him, and then he goes away, and now you call something, which you mean that you could call something like that. But let's say you have a star. If you had a star, then when you attack with this, if your star would come right here, he has to call right away. And if he calls right away, then you would have something. He could not call on the top of other Vanguard, and still this is already kind of attacking, so you don't want to call on the top of it. There is no reason to call right here. You could call right there, but then again, you're losing a lot. So there are different things that you could do. So let's say that you have star, and that's the only choice that you could do. So you attack with this, you Soul Blast 2 yet again, and then you call these, you Counter Blast 1, but you already counter charged, so this goes back, and you put a card from your hand to the soul from star to call this to the field. At the end of the battle, he goes away. You get the extra 5k if you make him charge, but you don't have to. So this would hit the 15, which is the same as 11. And at the end of the battle, you activate his ability. He goes back to the bottom of the deck, put a card from your hand to the soul. You bind and call, activate his skill again, Count Blast, put the card from your hand to the soul, call right here, stands, not charge, attack for 11, attack. He got power, so this is perfect because this is 11-16. At the end of the battle, he's not charged, activate his ability, put a card from your hand into the soul, boom, restand, and then activate ability, count blast, card from your hand to the soul, call, restand. If you have a fake bomber, you could extend the combo even more. As I said, every fake bomber, every laser blackguard could extend the combo because the fake bomber will come right here, and then you could charge him if you want to. You get the extra 3k. So what you could do is you could attack with him, he goes away, you attack with the fake bomber, you activate the ability, soul blast 2, counter charge, call something from your hand, he goes away, attack, counter blast. At the end of the battle, you could call something, and again, laser blackguard, fake bomber in your hand give you a extra attack. So that's with the Agrias. What the Agrias pretty much do is he charges your field, and again, what you want your field to look like is actually you have this as your Vanguard, and what you want to have on the field is one frog raider right here, and the second frog raider actually right here. This is the best thing that you want to do, or both of them in the back row, but this is perfect. And then anything that could extend the combo, laser blackguard, and fake bomber, star, that's perfect. And then anything else that you want to bind and keep in the bind zone, like this field is perfection. Okay, if you have Lyre Lips, then you could call her because she's always good. If not, then it's okay. It gives you another soul charge, which is good, but also gives you a 5k on the attacking Vanguard, it's also good. And hit C, perfect number with the frog rating. So attack, nothing is charged, of course. Attack, activate the ability, bind these 3. You don't have to bind all 4, don't do that. And because if you get a stand trigger, you could still stand him, so that's also good. And then you would call 1, 2, this stays in the bind zone, and now you have to activate the star ability right away. So you counterblast 1, you already counterblast from his ability, counterblast again, you activate the skill, and then you call something like the fake bomber from your deck, and your field will look like this. And now you need laser blackguards for his ability. If you don't have laser blackguard in your hand and you don't want to gumble, then you go for the star combo. So your field would look like this. Okay, if you have him in your hand, that's also good. Then you could just go for this, and then you would be calling him from your hand. Now you could make him charge or not make him charge, pretty much up to you. But let's show you the instructor combo. Okay, so now you attack. If you get triggers, crit goes right there. You could give power here and power there, so both columns will still hit. This is not charge, you attack with him, does nothing. You attack with this. Of course, this would be 11, 18, and because if you gave him a trigger, he could be 23. If not, then it's okay. This hits 11 or 16, depending if you give him a trigger or not. And of course, at the end of the battle, he goes away. You pay 1 soul from your hand, and you bind and call. He restands, you activate ability. Boom. Bam. Boom. And now you could make him charge if you want to, because this is the last attack, but you have 1 more. So he stays on the field, he's not charged, you attack with him, and at the end of the battle, he goes away with a card from your hand with a soul. Bind and call. Attack for the last attack, and now you can make him charge, go away. At the end of the battle, at the end of your turn, you have 2 rearguards, you eat 1 of them and you draw. So that's pretty much the combo that you could do with Agrias, because Agrias is actually better than Picaro because you could do them right away. Now, what's the different combo if we would go with Picaro? When we go with Picaro, there are different things that you could do. So let's say again that you have the counterblast of 4, which is a lot to work with. It also works with 1 or 2, it's still okay. So let's reset our soul and reset our damage and go again. So grade 1, grade 2, and a grade 3. Let's say that you only activated the skill of Liar Lips once this time, or you have G-guarded twice and now you could go to Picaro. That's also okay. So your field would look pretty much like this, because you ate up your Regars for the extra draw and you're kind of ready. All right, now what you want to do right here is you could just attack with Picaro right away. If you have a Frog Raider in your hand and let's say you have a Liar Lips, then you could just attack with them and then you could put this into your soul, so you have 1 extra attack and 1 extra soul, and then you attack with Picaro, counterblast of 2, put a card from your hand into the soul, and now you call anything you want from your deck. So you have Mayhem Tiger, Laser Blackguard, Frog Raider, and Fake Bomber, and of course you also have Eliza, you have Tyr, you have so many good cards that you could call. What's the combo that you want to do? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. How much damage do you really have to do your opponent, and how much PGs do they have in their hand? Because you could also go Mayhem Tiger, restand of course, but let's finish the skill of him first. So let's say that you had 3 cards face up, and with him you turn the 4th, so you have 4 cards face up in the G zone. So you could call 4. So 1, 2, 3, and the second Mayhem Tiger could be 4. Restand. Boom. That's ready. Activate his ability, Soul Blast of 2. You get your counter charges back. Alright, so this could be the combo that you want to do. This is the Mayhem Tiger combo with Picaro. Now you attack first with this. Of course he's charged. So this Mayhem Tiger attack number 1, he goes away. And you attack with this Mayhem Tiger attack number 2. Then you activate the skill of her. You count blast, and he binds and he comes back. And that's Mayhem Tiger attack number 3. If you want to do this combo, there is no reason to counter charge, because this combo only needs 3 counter blasts. So you leave your soul for the Mayhem Tigers and you don't take it out with Tyr. So again, the field would look like this, which could work even if you have only 3 cards face up in the G zone, because you only need to call 3. If you have 4, you could just call a second fake Frog Raider, right here, which could also work. Or what I normally just like to call is a grade 3 right here, because at the end of the turn you will have only these 2 on the field, and then you could put this into your soul to draw out of him. So that's also good. Just put something in here that you want out of your deck. Like most of the time what you want out of your deck is of course the JBs after already using him, so it goes to the soul. Okay, that is the Mayhem Tiger turn with Picaro. Now there are different turns that you could do. So you could also go for the multi-attacking turn. So right here you would call Fake Bomber, you would call something like Laser Blackguard, and you will be set to go. And then you could call 1 attacker right here that you want to get rid of. And this is the turn that you pretty much will call the Tyr, because you want all of your counter blasts ready. Okay, so this right here is a great field. Again, this could boost or not, depend if you called with him or not. So normally your field will look like this. Alright, now you attack, you get power, you give everything to the Frog Raider. If you get a crit, you could give it to him. So you're good to go. Then you attack with this. He's charged, of course, so he goes away, because you need at least 1 Regard to go away. Then you attack with this. Now you didn't counter blast yet, so you could not counter charge. What you could also do is you only attack with the Laser Blackguard. You do not boost him yet, so he still hits because he gets the extra power because he's charged. Then you activate his ability by counter blasting 1, by putting a card from your hand to the soul. He goes away. Now you could get the ability to call something like a star, which could call again something on the other side of the field, like let's say another man tiger, just to mess with your opponent a little bit. But you could also call something different if you want to. He restands, you could make him charge because you don't really need him anymore. So you attack with this. This makes a perfect number if he's charged because he's at 3k. So that's 3, that's 10, 10, 11, that's 21. 21 is perfect. Got one trigger at least on him, that's 26. He goes away. And then you attack with this. Of course, you also counterblast this with the star, and you put another card from your hand to the soul. Now you attack with this, you could activate his ability. So you Soul Blast 2, and then you pretty much could call something from your hand. And what you want to call is again a combo extender like the Laser Vanguard. So you could see how much attacks we're making, right? It's like insane. So you call this right here, he restands, and you counter charge 1 because of his ability. Then he goes back, and then you're left with this. You attack with this column, and then at the end of the battle, you counterblast 1, you put a card from your hand into the soul. He goes away, and then you can't call right here, and you cannot call Agrias 2. So what you call is, of course, star, and you activate star ability to put a card from your hand to the soul. And then you go back to the instructor combo. So again, depending on how much is your opponent Vanguard at. If they are like 16 or 11, this is good, because if they are 11, that's perfect. So you could just attack with this, he's not charged, does nothing. Attack with this, this is 11 or 16. At the end of the battle, his skill will kicks in, you put a card from your hand to the soul, and you bind and call this, and he goes back to the deck, of course. Activate his ability to counterblast, put a card from your hand to the soul. Boom. Restands. Attack, still not charged. Attack. Activate the ability, goes back to the bottom of the deck. Card into the soul. Call. Right here because you don't have any counterblasts left. So you attack with this as the last attack. And you make him charge because you want to get rid of him. And at the end of the turn, you have 2 Vanguards to the soul you draw. Again, that's another Picaro turn that you could do. And you pretty much could also always rely on the combo that you could do with the star and the instructor. That's why the instructor and star are such a good team. If you have combo extenders in your hand, being instructor himself, Laser Vanguard, you could always have this in the front row, and you don't keep calling him, but you could also call the Fake Bomber from your deck. So the Fake Bomber from your deck, even on the last attack, means you could attack with this, you could put him back to the deck, and then you attack with this. You countercharge 1 by Soul Blasting 2. But you could now call something from your hand, which is normally the Laser Vanguard right here, and then this goes back, and the Laser Vanguard will attack, but at the end of the attack that he does, you could also counterblast 1, and you could keep calling the Fake Bomber, and then he goes back, and this could keep attack, countercharge, Soul Blast 2, call the Laser Vanguard, he go away, he attack, he counterblast 1, and then he comes back. And you could do this all over again. As long as you have Laser Vanguards in your hand, you could keep doing this, and you could always end up with the star, and the star could end up with the instructor, and then you go like this, and that would work. So yeah, different combos, lots of different things that you could do in this deck. And now, last but not least, let's show you the GB8 combo. The GB8 combo is the most simple one, because what you do right here is you are very flexible in the way that you could use your counterblast, use your soul. So now, instead of the extra attacks that you do, because you have the same number of attacks because of the cards that you have to give up from your hand for the extra attack for Spikers, because every attack costs a card from your hand. But during the GB8 turn, you also just like use the GB8 ability to get an extra attack. So what's the difference between just putting a card from your hand into the soul for the GB8 ability, or putting a card from your hand into the soul with the skill of, let's say, Laser Vanguard? The only big difference is you could power up your Frog Raider even more. So what you want to do right here, in the most situations while you play the GB8, you want the attacker on this side. Doesn't matter which card it actually is. Even if it's a draw trigger, that's okay. If it's something that could hit a little bit higher, that's even better. So let's say that you have this in your hand, and on the other side, what you actually want, and that's why I keep saying that this card is really good, is you want Lyre Lips. All right. So what you want to do right here is, we could of course take out our SP Lyre Lips because we didn't put her in the deck, but it's fine. So let's say that we have our super SP's Lyre Lips chilling right here. So let's make a big change right here because it's important to play our SPs. And you have the GB8, right? So now we need our dices because it's finally time to show you how to power up the Frog Raider like hell, like crazy. If you're playing against Nubutama, put the Frog Raider on the front row. If not, then he's chilling in the back row just fine. Or any other deck that could take out a great one. So let's have a beautiful dice right here, and let's give him this beautiful color because it's the spike color. All right. So what you want to do right here is you want to attack with this. Because you're attacking with the GB8, you activate the skill of the GB8 to give something an extra 10k. So you give your Frog Raider an extra 10k, of course. And then you attack with the GB8 himself to put this into your soul. Now you draw a card. Because he attacks, you give the Frog Raider yet another 10k. So this becomes 20k. Okay, you draw a card, and then if you get a trigger, let's say you get one trigger, then this gets E extra 5k, so it's 25. Alright, now you attack with this, you activate the ability to give him the extra 10k, of course, because you want to attack again, right? So let's say you give this extra 10k, and then at the end of the battle, he goes to the soul with one card from your hand, and then you could call something. And of course, you want to call in front of the Frog Raider. So what you call right here, as I said, is something that could give the Frog Raider extra power. So what you could do is you could also call something like a Laser Vanguard from your deck. Alright, this would restand. And now you attack with the Laser Vanguard. The skill of the GB8, you could give that to the Frog Raider because you don't really need the GB8 ability to extend the combo. You could rely on the Laser Vanguard. At the end of the battle, Laser Vanguard will go to the bottom of the deck. You count the last one, you put a card from your hand into the soul, and then you could call something to an open regular circle, not on the same circle. So you call Star. You activate Star ability by counterblasting one, putting another card from your hand to the soul, and then you could call something right here again. And now let's say that you just call E beat stick, or you just call this. Alright, this would restand. You don't have to make him charge yet. Why? I'll show you. You attack with this, he's not charged. You activate the skill of the GB8, you give this an extra power, so it's already 45 plus, right? And now you attack with the, you give him power, and then at the end of the battle, you put a card from your hand to the soul, of course, with this, the GB8 ability, and then you could call something from your deck, and now you call something like an Axe Diver. Bind and call. Boom. You get +5. Ooh, I need more dices because of his ability. Of course, cost the Count Blast and the Soul Blast. You get +5k, but he also gets +5k because you could make him charge if you want to. Don't make him charge. And then you attack again with this. Do not make him charge yet. He gets plus power. Why? Because he's good. And now you attack with this. At the end of the battle, you put this and a card from your hand to the soul. And then you could call something different, and you could go for another Axe Diver, Count Blasts, Soul Blast, Bind and Call, +5k again. He stands. And now it's pretty much, that's it. That's everything you want to do. You could attack with this, just 15k, give him power, You could give the power to the Frograde again, because now you could get rid of him. You don't need him anymore. You're now attacking just with one column. So it'd be like this, and then he's of course charged. So now you attack with this column, and then you give him the extra 10k. All right, so that could be it. What you could also do is on the last attack, you could also put this into your soul with a card from your hand. And now what you want to do is you want to call this guy, and now you attack with him, and then you activate his ability, of course, to bind all 3 cards from your soul and give him extra 30k, which is crazy. But already with this small combo, with this amount of cards that we have used, he's already so much powered up. So the normal attack will be, so this is 16 plus the 10k that he gets as from every attack that he makes. So 16, 21, 21 plus 15, so that's 71 right there. And the 71 is just insanely strong, and you don't really need the Mayhem Tiger to have this attack very good. What I normally do is I just put the Mayhem Tiger right here and give him the 5k, and then end up with the Axe Diver right here. So pretty much you'll just attack with this because he's charged, but he's only 15 or 14, and your opponent would still have to guard this attack. You could even put the GB8 skill on him if they got a trigger or 2 triggers, and this would still hit even above 2 triggers, because remember the triggers were only 5k. So they have to PG this attack, because G guarding or just guarding from their hand, you could just like take it out, right, because of the skill of Mayhem Tiger, if you don't remember. And then with this column, because this column is 70 something, this is insane. They could not guard this. So again, you just, because he's charged, he goes back, and then you attack with this column, and then you just put it into your soul, and then you could keep like hitting them with the Mayhem Tiger. So you could power this up like crazy if you play like something against Giza or something, but you could also go for the Mayhem Tiger kill turn, like what I normally like to do. If you have your counterblast with the GB8, what you normally do is, what you could do is you keep calling the Mayhem Tiger over and over and over again on the other side of your Frograder. So the Mayhem Tiger will just keep hitting the 19, 19, 19, but because he's charged, he goes back, and they still have to take that attack or guard it with a perfect guard. And then this side is so strong, they also need a perfect guard or a G Guardian, and then you could just put this into your soul to call something right here, right there, and that would call the Mayhem Tiger again. You could just go for another star if you want to, and then you could just do star right here. You already paid a counterblast before, so you counterblast again, put a card from your hand to the soul, another Mayhem Tiger here stands. Just do that if you want to. You could also just go for this to power up him, because this only costs 1 counterblast, but it does cost 2 cards from your hand. Again, so many different combos that you could do with this deck, and we will not make the video any longer than this. This is already a long video, so thank you all for watching. Hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that this is not too much information. For me, this is already carved into my system, so I will never forget it. It's the deck that I played for the most time, and also the deck that's actually I qualified towards with some adjustment from premium. But pretty much the deck is insanely strong. One of the reasons why the deck is strong, because it's consistent, and because you had Star, and Star could give you so much hand advantage as he keep drawing you cards like crazy. Because his second ability, if you don't remember, I will just read it up to you. It's a GB2. At the end of each turn, that makes him good. At the end of each turn, if the number of your Regars is 2 or less, choose one of your Regars and put it into your soul to draw a card. Which means that pretty much if you end your own turn with having like only 2 cards on the field, then you pretty much could eat up 1, draw a card, and then at the beginning of your turn, if you don't have if you don't really need this, or if you don't have something to stride within your hand, just put it again in your soul and draw again. It's just insane. You could do so many stupid things with him. Just like put the Frog-Raider right here, put the draw trigger on the front, and then attack, and at the end of the turn, you just put that draw trigger into your soul and then you could just draw. And then at the start of the next turn, you put the Frog Raider into your soul and draw. And because you will go to Picaro anyway, or the GB8, you could just call the Frog Raider from your deck again. So why not? Just get an extra draw out of him. And you end up with having so many cards in your hand. It was really, really good. All right, thanks again for watching. Until next time.